Welcome to the show. Picture this. Two managers, one tiny interview room, one worker who's already rattled, and some genius says, "Righto, let's play good cop, bad cop." Because apparently, we're not gathering evidence now, we're auditioning for a low-budget crime drama. One bloke leans in like he's cracking a cartel, the other softens his voice, offers a cuppa, and waits for the confession. And everyone wonders why the statement comes out thin, weird, contradictory, and about as reliable as a paper hard hat.
Here's the myth. If you push hard enough, people will crack and tell you everything. Sounds tough, sounds decisive, sounds like leadership on LinkedIn. It is in fact rubbish for witness interviews. A witness interview is not a contest. It's not about winning. It's not about catching someone out. It's not about diagnosing character defects because Barry paused for 3 seconds and looked at the floor. It's information gathering. That's the job. Get accurate, relevant information so you can understand what happened, build the timeline, and work out the contributing factors. And here's the awkward bit people hate. Human memory is not a CCTV system. It's fallible, malleable, and easily bent out of shape. We know recall gets affected by trauma, stress, distraction, elapsed time, location, contamination, even the interviewer's own skill. So when you corner someone, judge them, or come in hot with the old "if you've got nothing to hide" routine, you don't improve memory, you cook it. When people feel threatened, judged, powerless, or cornered, they get defensive. They start protecting themselves instead of recalling carefully. That means filtering, shutting down, guessing, agreeing just to end the discomfort, or telling you what they reckon you want to hear. Which is terrific if your goal is fiction. But if your goal is truth, you need the opposite conditions. Calm, neutrality, safety, a bit of rapport, a private setting, plain language, no jargon, no power games. Interview them as soon as practical, sure, but not while they're in shock or pain. There's a difference between being timely and being a galah. I always say this to investigators. Pressure distorts, curiosity reveals. The whole point is to understand the witness's unique perspective, not because they're automatically correct about everything, but because their account is one data source in your bigger picture: people, environment, equipment, procedures, organization. PEOPO. That's your roadmap, not your ego. So if you walk into an interview trying to dominate the room, you've already missed the plot. You're not there to perform authority. You're there to gather facts before they deteriorate, same as physical evidence. And just like physical evidence, witness evidence can be contaminated by clumsy handling. Bad questions do that. Bad tone does that. Rushing does that. Good cop, bad cop absolutely does that. Now, let's talk about what this circus actually wrecks. First one, memory. If one interviewer pressures and the other reassures, the witness starts responding to the mood in the room, not just the event they're trying to recall. That's a problem, because now their brain's busy managing threat, authority, tone shifts, and self-protection. The actual incident gets shoved to the side like an old toolbox under the bench. Second thing it wrecks, openness. If I think you've already decided what happened, why on earth would I give you the messy bits? Why would I admit I was confused or distracted, or that the plan changed mid-task, or that nobody did the take 5? I'll give you the safe version, the polished version, the version least likely to bite me later. And there goes your incident learning. The guidance is actually pretty simple, and funny enough, it works better than theatrics. Interview witnesses as soon as practical after the event. Prepare first. Know the role, know the purpose, know the scope. Introduce yourself and establish rapport. Interview in a private setting without distractions. Let them know you're taking notes. If they need a break, give them one. If they want a support person, deal with that properly. If language or culture is a barrier, use an interpreter who doesn't hijack the interview. And for the love of all things decent, avoid jargon. Don't ask a fitter, "Can you describe the procedural non-conformance associated with the task deviation?" Just ask what happened. We're trying to gather information,
not summon a consultant from the underworld. The other big one is this distinction. Gathering information is not diagnosing. That line matters. You are not there to decide whether the person is careless, lazy, complacent, difficult, or a bad apple. That's lazy thinking dressed up as professionalism. In investigation land, we treat what's being said as truthful from their perspective. Then we validate it against other evidence. Documents, scene, equipment condition, timeline, other interviews. That's disciplined investigation. Because inconsistencies are often not lies. They can come from memory limits, elapsed time, poor questions, stress, contamination from talking to others, or just the plain fact humans are gloriously imperfect little meat computers. Good cop, bad cop shoves you straight back toward blame. And ICAM is built specifically to get you past that. We're trying to understand contributing factors, absent or failed defenses, human decisions in context, and organizational influences. If the interviewee feels blamed, judged, or threatened, you'll mostly get surface-level stuff. I made a mistake. I should have been more careful. Yeah, I suppose I should have followed the procedure. Great, brilliant, wonderful. And what caused that? Was the procedure available? Was it suitable? Was the environment noisy? Was supervision absent? Was there time pressure? Was the equipment fit for purpose? Were there incompatible goals? That's the gold. That's what the pressure tactics bury. So no, alternating pressure and kindness is not clever interviewing. It's just contamination with better branding. So what do you do instead? Start broad, always. Free recall first. Can you tell me in your own words whatever you can remember about the incident? That's the best opening because it lets the witness mentally recreate the event without you stuffing your theory into their mouth. Then go to open questions. What happened next? What can you tell me about the task? What were your working conditions like? What instructions were given and by who? What pressures were there from time, workload, or other jobs? Those sorts of questions give you detail without boxing the person in too early. After that, active listening. Real listening. Not the fake nod people do while loading their next question. Give them space. Brief encourages. Silence. Silence is magic, by the way. Most investigators are terrified of it. They think they must fill every gap like a DJ on breakfast radio. Don't. Let people think. A few extra seconds often gets you the bit that actually matters. Then paraphrase. So what you're saying is, let me make sure I've got this right. That does two jobs. First, it checks your understanding. Second, it gives the witness a chance to correct you before your notes harden into nonsense. Closed questions? Sure. Later. Use them to clarify details already raised. Times, positions, sequence, who else was there? Leading questions, use with caution, if at all, and only to test reactions to information you already have. Loaded questions, bin them. How careless was he is not an investigative question. It's a bias grenade. And keep your questions anchored to PEPO, people. Who was involved? What was their role? Training, communication, supervision, stress, workload. Environment, light, noise, weather, layout, visibility, distractions. Equipment, condition, function, labels, alarms, suitability. Procedures, what procedure, what risk assessment, what changed, what was actually done. Organization, planning, resourcing, contractor management, previous incidents, feedback loops, priorities. That's how you stop drifting into waffle and keep the interview useful. The investigator's mindset has to be neutral curiosity. Control your own emotions. Don't judge, don't criticize, don't get flippant, don't show anger, and don't come in with a predetermined conclusion looking for quotes to decorate it. That's not investigation. That's cosplay. At the end, summarize. Thank them. Ask if there's anything else they want to share. Ask what they think could prevent a recurrence. Exchange contact details in case clarification is needed later. Don't just leave them hanging like an old extension lead in a workshop.
Because this is what it comes down to. Do you want a confession or do you want the truth? A confession is tidy, political, convenient, usually points at a person. The truth is messier. It points at systems, trade-offs, weak controls, dodgy assumptions, and things leaders approved without calling them change. But the truth is the only thing that gives you a decent chance of preventing the next one. So next time someone suggests good cop, bad cop for a witness interview, do the responsible thing. Take that idea gently by the hand and walk it straight to the bin. Catch you next time.